In the state of Michigan, kids must ride in some proper type of car seat until they're at least 8 years old. Safe Kids says the best recommendation is to have them in a seat until they're 4 feet 9 inches tall. A Griffins player and former #1 draft pick of the Red Wings pleaded guilty to driving with a blood alcohol level higher than .17 today. That qualifies under the state's super drunk law. Riley Shahan will serve 12 months probation, 49 hours on a work crew, and pay more than $1,300 in fines, as well as attend victim impact classes. Shahan was arrested in downtown Grand Rapids on October 29th while wearing a purple Teletubby costume. He just turned 21 recently, but was underage at the time of the arrest. Because of today's plea, false ID and driving the wrong way charges against Shahan. And we have breaking news first at 5:30. We are just learning that Governor Snyder will speak to the media in about 15 minutes. And he's speaking on a day when thousands took to the streets to protest the right-to-work legislation that is heading to the governor's desk. We will bring that to you live.
Right now, let's go back out live to Fox 17's Lindsay Cush.
The Detroit area businessman considered a suspect in the death of his wife will spend the next several years in prison for trying to have a handyman killed. Bob Bashar was sentenced to 6.5 to 20 years for plotting to kill Joseph Jentz. Jentz, who did odd jobs for Bashar, is facing first-degree murder and conspiracy charges in the death of Jane Bashar, who was found beaten and strangled to death in her SUV last January. Police allege Bob Bashar tried to kill Jentz to keep him quiet about the crime. Today, Bashar said his actions were foolish.
If this is how I must repay my debt to society, then I will do that. Again, I am truly and humbly sorry for my actions.
Bob Bashar has never been charged in his wife's death, but has been called a person of interest. After more than 2 years, some of the Chrysler workers fired after being recorded smoking pot and drinking on their lunch breaks are back on the job. The company issued a statement today saying that although they don't agree with the decision made by an arbitrator, it was time to put the situation behind them. You may remember in 2010, shortly after the government bailout, Fox 2 in Detroit followed the workers at the Jefferson East plant for several days and then took the video of them smoking and drinking to Chrysler execs, who suspended 2 employees and fired 13. It is one of the biggest parties on the west side.
Yes, and fine.
A lot of people like to give their input about this.
Well, yeah, when they call it the Indiana Railroad Bridge, do they kind of giggle a little bit because they know nobody calls it that?
You know, and the historians were there today, and they were talking about the history of the bridge, and it's pretty interesting.
And you and I were talking earlier, the lighting that's on there now is really, really old.
It is. There's basically street lights on it, the metal halide, the high-pressure sodium stuff, the old-school street lights. There were also some pucks that were early LED technology that they put on there, I think, back during the bicentennial years. They put them on all the bridges downtown. So they are ready for an upgrade, and with the new technology, the new LEDs, they can basically paint this thing however they want, customize it for different events.
And if it was going to be red, they'd have to keep painting it over and over and over.
That's
but
the
the
thing.
blue's going to last.
A lot of people said colder red.
Hours on a clock, and most importantly, 12 donuts in a dozen. That's why I love the number 12.
Yeah.
I used to wear number 12 when I played hockey.
Really?
I have no idea why.
It was lucky.
But now I play it when I play roulette.
See, it's good. I love it. A lot of people are excited that you're having 12, 12, 12. It's fun.
It was very exciting last year when it was 11, 11, 11, remember?
I happen to like 10, 10, 10.
Why's that?
Or 9, 9, 9. I just thought we'd just keep going and see how long it would last.
Well, there'll never be a 13, 13, 13,
No.
which is good, which is good. There's a lot of conspiracy theory.
If she was in a child seat, would she have lived through the accident?
I believe so, yes.
3 people killed in a deadly car crash in Van Buren County last month. And during court testimony yesterday, witnesses took the stand to say that car seats may have saved the lives of little Candace and Cassidy Berryhill. Police say they were killed by a drunk driver who was 3 times the legal limit. Tonight, Safe Kids of Grand Rapids says the failure to use child seats or the misuse of them is the 3rd leading cause of death for kids in our area. Fox 17's Jennifer Dowling has more on this, including why adult seat belts might do more harm than good.
Michigan State.
Governor Rick Snyder still speaking in Lansing on the right-to-work legislation that he signed into law. He's taking questions right now.
Who participated in this debate.
And there you just heard from Governor Snyder talking about how those bills, in fact, have been signed into law. We had mentioned earlier there was going to be something at midnight, but as he just said, already signed into law. He talked about the unions and how this is an opportunity for them, the governor says, to step up.
And mentioned what we had heard earlier today. This was a bottom-up thing. This did not start with the governor and work down. It started in the legislature and worked up to him.
We'll have much more on this and reaction to those bills being signed into law coming up. We'll be right back.
Okay.
And have your Fab Five. We've discussed it before, but have a group of 5 people you can call, and most importantly, write the numbers down.
That's right. The suicide literature supports having a Fab Five, and your Fab Five should be
clashing in court after a suspected drunk driving crash kills 2 little girls and a young woman. Today, as a judge decided if there was enough evidence for the case to go to trial, new details emerged about the moments after the crash in Van Buren County.
It's a case we've been following for weeks now. Fox 17 Jennifer